All right, we are near the end. We're at Chapter 8, and it's going to be good. This is going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. I hope you guys are excited. I am your host and your author, Connor Barve, and today we are going to be going over some of the character introductions for Chapter 8. Now, before we get into it, if you're liking this content, please leave a like. It really does help the algorithm and getting out and reaching out to new readers, new people, and it simply just helps me out. If you enjoy it, leave a nice comment, subscribe, and let's get into it. In Secreto, Chapter 8. Now, to kind of just recap, because the last time that we had let off, we were reading about Grimm's encounter with Informe, and Informe came into this form of this massive demon foe that she had seen when they went into the Hellscape portal in Chapter 2. So what ended up happening was Grimm was starting to figure out how to challenge himself in different ways without risking his life. Now, the last time that he fought the Marquise demon, the Ash demon, specifically the one that Jem was trying to get blood for, consequently, Grimm ended up exorcising it completely. Turned it to ash. It was cast away from this world, destroyed, gone, gonzo. So she didn't end up getting her blood, which was frustrating. So to kind of start challenging his abilities, she wanted to do a skirmish one of these days with Alita and Grimm together. So while this was all going on, Jem separated Alita from Grimm. Now, before, when they were traveling into this large grassland, Grimm had actually given Alita an order to stay behind around the perimeter of the grassland and wait for his cue. When cued, Jem specifically went after Alita, and this is where it's going to pick up. Now, where it picks up is Alita ended up hitting Jem with one of her spears that she made from that ivory handle that Grimm was starting to notice. I've never seen her use it. But we'll get to that in just a moment. Now, what ended up happening between Grimm and Informe, he actually ended up defeating her by using the charge of a massive lightning strike that was up in the sky. There was this massive dark storm clouds that were brewing. He actually used the charges from that and his own power, and when struck against Informe, it actually broke through that demon hide skin that somehow she got from Jem and ended up defeating her. Now, when I say defeat, she wasn't killed. Informe was actually just returned to ash, and if you could imagine like a phoenix in its ashes, it's reborn. That's kind of like Informe. So the demon was actually more, the demon form that she was encased in was more like, it was more like a robotic skin, not a robot, but it was more like a skin that she was wearing than something that she transformed into. So she was kind of just a little core for this golem-like demon structure. And when defeated, she just returned back to her natural state, and she was actually so exhausted from it, she was just asleep. She was in her little kitten stage, asleep in the little pile of ashes. And Grimm finally found victory in that fight. Now, I wanted to go over one thing in this chapter specifically, because the mansion that they live in is massive. It's huge. And there are so many rooms that some of those rooms they haven't really explored. Now, the one that they constantly are in, especially Jem, is the library. And I wanted to go over the library a little bit. The library has multiple levels. And the candles that you kind of see here in this picture, they when an occupant goes into the room, the candles are lit. It's a beautiful type of alchemy that was created by their parents. Now, these candles will follow the occupants of the library and depending on how you are and how you're acting, they'll kind of stay around maybe a table and then follow you around maybe the different halls that you go down. Now, when I mean hallways in the library, these the columns that you see actually have hallways that go down them just a little bit of ways. So there are 90-degree angles in the library. I just want to go over the details so you could kind of realize the scope of how big the library actually is. And I wanted to go over, there's actually only 2 artists. There's only 2 artists. There's 2 authors that wrote all of them. So just keep that in mind, the scale of how many books there are and only being 2 authors. And I'll leave it up to you to kind of figure out who those 2 authors were. I believe in one of the chapters I do say who it was, but that's the fun of it. I'll let you figure that out yourself. Now, okay, Alita. The last character introduction, I said that Alita's starting to experience transformations. That is true. She's going to be experience a wild transformation this chapter, and it's going to be a big one. This will totally change how Alita is seen, how she sees herself. She will be broken down completely. And much like the phoenix in its ashes, it will rise once again, but this time with a little bit more knowledge than before. And that's exactly what's going to happen this time. She is going to experience massive changes, not only on her mental state, but her physical state as well. Even her magical state as well. She's going to find that she is capable of much more than before. Much, much more. So stay tuned for the audiobook. If you haven't already, leave a like. If you like this comment, leave a comment. I would love to hear about it. I would love to, especially the audiobooks. I really do enjoy hearing the feedback. So I'm excited to get into it. And we have one more chapter after this. Believe it or not, we have one more chapter. I only write 9 chapters in the books, and that's for a reason. But we'll get to that some other time, maybe in an introduction to the books and kind of the behind the scenes of why I do certain things the way I do. So stay tuned for the book, and we'll see you for the audiobook. See ya.